What's
All
happening?
right. Oh, nothing. Just enjoying summer. How about you?
Life is good, man.
No
Life is good.
kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. We got a bunch of the best human beings in the world that get to hang out and we get to do this every week and talk to super cool people. And you're one of those, man. So glad to now remember you're in Canada. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, about an hour and a half north of Toronto. Yep.
Okay. All right. I thought I remembered that right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's good to see you. Have you been back to Vegas since then?
Yeah, I'm going September 10th is the one I'm going to.
You're going, okay. I'll be there. Gosh, man, I think like 12 days after you. I think so.
Okay.
I'm going that month, I'm pretty sure, but I think it's a little bit later, man. So
Yeah, right
uh,
on. Cool.
yeah.
I like the event. I'm just trying to figure out, I'm landing the day early so I can do something. Last time I went, I rented the helicopter, an army helicopter through the canyon. We shot giant machine guns out the side and hit
Uh,
planes and stuff in the desert, and we did sniper rifles. So I'm trying to find something cool to do the day before.
that's
So
so
every
rad,
trip
man.
is worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so cool, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you, man. So when I met you out there in Vegas, there were a couple of things in particular, and I'm actually not even gonna tell you right now. I'll tell you a little bit as we dive in a little more, but
Sure. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
were a couple of things in particular where I was like, ooh, I really like this guy, and I want to dive in further. And not just with our men and with everything we're doing here, just wanting to dive in further to who you are and what you're doing, man, because it's like I said, there was a couple of things in particular I was like, oof. I really like this dude.
Cool.
Um,
Are all five of us chatting, or is it just you and I? Or
so you and I will start off and we'll kick it off, but then we'll have a handful of guys in here, man, that'll jump in for some Q&A
cool.
on the
Okay.
back end. But we just want to talk all things. So we get to do this every week. Alex has come in and done this with us,
Yeah.
which
Saw
is
that.
which is super fun. We've had a whole bunch of amazing humans, and so yeah, we'll dive in about you and anywhere we want to go with that, and then these guys will come in for Q&A.
Sounds
So
like a plan. All
yeah, man.
right. Awesome.
Easy day. So everything you are doing, I'm going to say right up front, is fascinating to me, and I'm wildly uninformed in that
Okay.
area. I don't mean uninformed about, I just mean uninformed about the industry in particular and what you,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I love being able to get curious on that with you. And then I also want to dive into the person here, who is Chris.
For
So,
sure.
um, if anybody's unfamiliar with the work, if you had one or two sentences to describe your work, what is that? And if you had one or two sentences to describe Chris,
Okay.
who is that? And I know those are two different things.
Yep. Okay.
So let's start there. We'll go with work first, and then I'm interested in who Chris is here.
All right. Is this recording? Are we live?
Oh,
Are we?
we're just diving right in, baby.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, we're
All
just
right.
diving.
Well, a little bit about what I do in one or two sentences is I follow the different asset classes. I follow the stock market, bonds, commodities. And instead of looking at news and economic data and what's happening in the economy, I completely flip the script and I just look at price action. And what I use is technical analysis, which means I follow price charts. Price charts tell us a whole lot about what people think and feel and what they're doing with their money towards a specific asset class. And so all I do is I follow the price charts. If they're going up and they show strength, we own it. If something's going sideways or down, we get rid of it. And there's a time to own stocks. There's a time to own no stocks. There's a time to own bonds or a currency. And so what I do is I just rotate. We own whichever asset is the most stable, has the strongest trend, and that's how we manage our portfolios. Really, we just hold whatever's moving, and that way we don't catch. We're not holding things when they fall in value. It's a really simple strategy. In fact, it's so simple when I explain it, and I even show people what we do. It's like they're like, it doesn't seem that complex, and it's not when you strip out all the news and all the BS that people get sucked into. And on the flip side, myself, I'm all about the KISS strategy. Keep it simple, stupid, right? So, and I'm no genius. I really break everything down to the most simple level possible. How can I be super efficient? I like to have fun, number one. I like to do what I like.
Yeah.
And I just happened to fall in love with the markets at the age of 16, and it became my video game. And now it's my passion, my sport, my income, my everything. But I'm just a fun guy. I mean, I'm constantly on adventures. I had an adventure yesterday. I just got back from a fishing adventure with my son. We did a father-son fishing trip way up northern Ontario, Canada. I just love to have. I just like exploration, right? I like gold metal detecting. I like snorkeling and spearfishing, kiteboarding. I build and invent stuff. So I'm just all creative and I just like to have fun. And then, for me, work, thank God, I love what I do. So I can spend a week or a month or just dive in on a project when it comes to investing and just, I love every aspect of it. So I'm
So,
fortunate that I found my passion early in life and the way my brain ticks, because everybody's brain sees the world differently. They also see the stock market differently. I'm an INTJ. If you're the Myers-Briggs
yeah,
personality
yeah.
style, I'm called the scientist or the architect. You need a strategy, you need something figured out. I'll figure it out how to do it most efficiently. That's my thing.
I love it, man. So good. Great overview on that. So, how old is your son? And I think, do you have girls too?
Yeah, Ben is 13, Mirabelle is 15.
Okay.
She's daughter. And
Okay.
then yeah, yeah,
Okay, I thought I remembered our kids being pretty similar. My girls are 14 and 12, and then my son is 9.
yeah.
And I've seen you. I mean, I've seen pictures of you riding horses and in other countries and doing all. So you are kind of this adventurer, Indiana Jones meets Warren Buffett, but way cooler than both of them. So yeah, that's that dude. That's so good. So there's a couple things I want to unpack, and I love that you framed the way you take a look at investing, especially coming from somebody who is wildly uninformed, coming at it from a simple standpoint and coming at it from a standpoint that eliminates the some of the psychology that people will often
Hmm.
lay over the top. I
Yeah.
think there is, even without knowing anything, I think there's always brilliance there. We just had 2 days of men out here, and one of the things we talked about is sometimes moving life forward. It's not about adding more engines, it's not about pushing harder. Sometimes it's taking a look at the anchors where we're overcomplicating things
Yeah.
and cutting those loose. And then we're able to move forward with even the same engine that we have now. And simplicity usually is the mark of a genius in that way. So you started 25 some odd years ago as far as this, what that technical analysis, is that where you started? Is that how you started? And was it because of your brain or somebody else kind of put you onto that?
No, and it's definitely not because of my brain. I may look
Yeah,
smart sometimes or sound smart, but it's very rare. Like
understood.
I grew up in Canada here. It's special ed. So I was always the dumbed down kid. I was always getting help spelling and math and
Yeah.
English. Like every day I get sucked out to go work one on one. And I remember, this sounds terrible. I remember my special ed teacher telling me, because I said, one day I'm going to write a book. And she laughed at me. And I know, anyway, from that, as soon as she laughed, the feeling that I had was the motivation. I've now written 2 books. I've done second edition on another book. It was one of my core drivers in life was like, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to show that teacher. But to be successful, you don't have to be smart. I mean, at all. Like, you just need to do something you're passionate about, and if you're passionate about it, you can put in those 100-hour work weeks, which aren't really work. They're actually fun, and it's a journey, right?
Yeah,
Building a
man.
business and building your lifestyle is a journey, and I love all of that. But I think I got sidetracked. What your core question
No,
was?
that's
Oh,
but
your core question was technical analysis. I
yeah,
started out in doing what everybody else did. I bought stocks on
yeah.
fundamental analysis, PE ratios, what stocks, what companies had the best quarterly earnings, like over and over again. And this is what happened to me. I ended up doing very, very well initially. I started in about 1997 is when I started in the markets. I was in high school. My dad co-signed a trading account for me because I was underage to trade. And long story short, I owned the best companies. They were growing the strongest every quarter. And then the tech bubble hit. And these weren't even tech companies, but the stocks fell about 85%. And I lost pretty much everything, owning the best companies in the world. And
Mm.
that was when I blew a gasket. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. What the heck is everybody talking about? I spent thousands going to seminars, taking courses on how to do that. And then something hit me. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm just going to follow price. And I came across technical analysis. Uh, John Murphy, he's like the godfather of technical analysis. It's
Okay.
like 1,500-page book. I read that thing over and over again. And it's like, how do you read price charts? How is every asset class connected? So, for example, if one asset is falling, say gold or stocks or whatever, money's coming out of that and it's rotating into a different asset. Money's always, wherever it's coming from, it's going somewhere else. And so I have learned to follow price and identify where money's been flowing out of, where it's going in, how strong are those waves. And in a really simple analogy, you look at the stock market like the ocean. When the tide goes up, what happens to boats? They all go up. Well, the
Right.
stock market's the same. When we're in a bullish environment, a rising tide, you can just throw a dart at the stock market. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
When we are in a bear market or the markets are going down, you don't want to hold any stocks. They're all going to go down, just some faster than others. And so knowing that, then we can dial it in. Think if you're walking down a beach like in Florida or an ocean somewhere and there's surfers floating out past the waves breaking. What are they sitting there like floating waiting for? They're waiting for a set of waves to roll in, right? Every 5 minutes or so. Well, that's the same thing in the stock market. There's about 5 to 12 waves that roll through these asset classes every year that you see coming. They have so much momentum behind them, which we can gauge with technical analysis and intermarket analysis of what everything's doing. And we hop on the wave that meets our criteria, that we understand that asset, we have a strategy in place for it, we position ourselves, and when the wave comes, we hop on it with our portfolio. We ride that wave. And the nice thing about a strong wave is we can also tell when it's starting to get weak. So we can start trimming off, locking in profits, moving our stops up, which means we're protecting the downside. If it rolls over at any point, if we're on holidays or doing something, the broker just kicks us out automatically. So I just really surf the markets, and I do it in the most simplistic way. If people saw my strategy, they'd be like, man, that is not that complicated. And I'm like, it's not. It's just ride the coattails of the big money flows. They're the ones that create these trends and waves. And if you can identify those, you just follow them, right? That's about it in a nutshell.
And you're paying attention to what works, and you're not necessarily diving into the, oh, but this is the way it's always been done. And that resonates with myself. It resonates with all of these guys. That's how we build all the, we've got 100 and some odd campuses that we build. We build them around real education and what works and what needs to happen right now, and pay attention to
Mhm.
trends. And how do we build strong families right now? It's not like, oh, no, but the way school has always been done. It's that, and you're looking at investing in a very similar fashion. And that
Yeah.
absolutely resonates. You're not a fan of the, no, but hold on to it because in 12 years, right, the market always overcorrect. Like, why are
Yeah.
more people still stuck there?
Yeah. The
Why are
school,
they?
well, I mean, I love what you guys are doing because I believe the school system's pretty darn broken. And it's
Yes,
like,
sir.
you know, I used to copy, I'd always find someone, usually it would be a girl, and she would
Yeah.
be crushing it in
Yeah.
school.
Mhm.
And I'd always be like, just before class, I'm like, could I copy your notes? Could I copy your
Totally.
answers? Right.
Yeah.
And I see all the super successful people and all the people that seem like they had an amazing life in high school who weren't focused on the long game. I'm a long-term strategist. I'm always
Yeah.
looking forward and planning like years and even decades ahead. I've been planning my life out because I know where I want to be, where I want to go. I grew up in an entrepreneur family. My parents have businesses. I've bought and built and sold businesses. So anyway, long story short, it's just the school system. I think is pretty darn broken. They train you to be a yes man, to follow rules, to be told what to do, to go get a job and do stuff that really I can't do. I'm not an admin. I can't. I'm not a robot. I don't want to do robotic stuff. I want
Totally.
problems every day to solve. I want issues. I want to learn from mistakes. Like that is the biggest rush. Like there's nothing better than
In the
getting
arena.
hitting a brick wall with business or life or something, and then you like step back, you stumble, you learn what you need to. That's how you grow, right?
Man.
And school system just doesn't do that. And all the people that were really successful, I see them around town, and they're all the ones working like worker bee jobs. I'm like, I would not want to just be working for the people. I want to be like free and do what I love.
Man.
And the fact that I was in special ed and I was told I'd never write a book and all that stuff, it just shows like no way. Like if you want, you can plow right through it and kick butt.
Well, but it's even that story right there. So I told you at the very beginning, there's a couple things in particular that as I listened to you and as I was around you for a couple of days, and I watch everybody like I am a serial killer. I'm not, I promise.
Yeah, I do
But I
too.
watch, right? Dude, I just pay attention, and I pay attention to patterns, and I pay attention to what they say, the words they use, the words they don't use, how they carry themselves. I pay attention to whether or not I believe, and I'm not always right, but I get a pretty good sense of whether they believe what they're saying or whether they think they're just saying the right thing. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I really pay attention to all of those things. So there were two things immediately. First, you look like one of my best friends on the planet, like you guys could be twin brothers, and it was hilarious. So I was like, whoa. So I had noticed right away because I'm like, man, that guy looks just like Zach. And so, but then I started listening to you talk, and it was that I heard, I'm like, oh no, this guy thinks in a very similar way. He believes what he's saying because he's believes in himself and he has success in what he is doing. There's a peace that he's earned, and I'm not saying you got no problems. I don't know you well enough to say that, and I know
Oh, we all
humanity
got
well enough
problems.
to say you have plenty of them, right? But that you're okay with those. It's that, right? You've chosen like that's that piece where you go, cool. Problems are going to be a part of it, and I'm good with that. I'm in the arena. So I noticed that very early on. And so what you're saying right now, it speaks directly to that. That special ed teacher laughs at you and you as a young man go, cool, I'm about to write one just to show you that why was that different for you at an early age? Have you gone back to unpack that? Because there are kids who also have that same experience and it breaks them,
Yeah,
right? You go, I'll
totally.
show you, right? Where does that come from? Because that's a psychology piece. Where's that?
Yeah, well, I think I grew up. I was super fortunate to grow up in an entrepreneur family. My dad, whenever I was in his car, I'd be listening to cassette tapes on like how to make money with real estate, which I own a lot of real estate now.
Yeah.
All kinds of motivational stuff. My parents would take us to Toronto. We're about 2 hours away from Toronto. I'm up in Canada. And I got up on stage like at the age of 12 with Zig Ziglar. And I mean, I grew up going to that stuff. And so I know the power of positive mindset and thinking. And
Yeah.
I've always been competitive though. I don't like to lose. I hate losing. I'm not a sore loser, but I don't like to lose.
Yeah. I feel
But
that.
I will compete and challenge, and I will be the underdog. I will take the underdog if nobody wants it. And I actually love taking the underdog, especially when it comes to sports. I don't follow sports. I play more solo sports. I'm like kiteboarding, sport, like spearfishing, fishing. So when it comes to like big games, I love going to like, playoffs for hockey or the Super Bowl. And I always take the underdog because, and then when I win, everybody gets super angry. They're like, you don't even know what you're doing and you win.
Yeah, that's just the
But
way
I
I
love
roll.
being competitive. And so that's my edge. Somebody says I can't do it. I'm like, now I'm going to do it. Like, it's just the way I am. I'm going to prove you wrong. I don't know why. It's just, I have this,
Good thing to
I don't
have
like
that.
to be told what to do. And I think if somebody says I can't do something, I'm like, uh,
Oh, yeah, I align with that so much. So that psychology piece always matters, man. How do you see psychology? Because I want to talk about what you're building with this too. You're not just trading for yourself, you're helping others, you're showing others how to do this too.
yeah. Hmm.
And so you've seen the psychology of others that are jumping into this too. How does their psychology, how has that tended to either sabotage or serve traders, especially in, I guess considering even today's market?
Psychology, emotions is the number one problem with investing and trading.
Yeah.
When it comes to if you trade in the markets, it's constantly a problem. Even people that I've been working with and who are part of my newsletter, where I talk to them every day through a video newsletter. I always am trying to manage their emotions. I have
Mhm.
specific tools and indicators that I can get a gauge of what's happening on the markets before the markets open. I know the fear level, the panic, or the FOMO people have. I also have what I call an inbox indicator. Our social media accounts and our inbox usually go in waves of people sit with the same fears or concerns.
Yeah.
And so we can gauge all this. And we use AI for a lot of stuff now too, which really streamlines it. But it's emotions is really difficult because everybody's been told one thing. They're always like, there's one way to invest. Everybody thinks the more you trade, the more you make. You always have to be in a trade, which is both of those are so back asswards. It's
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
terrible. Cash is one of the best positions you can be in a certain market condition. There's nothing better than watching the world fall apart and you're collecting daily interest and holding your lifestyle and your account value, and everyone else is losing their shirts. And then, so the whole emotional side is tough because people naturally want to trade more. I don't trade much, 5 to 12 trades a year. It really, I hate saying trades because then people think I'm a trader,
Yeah.
but more or less it's portfolio adjustments. We just
Yep.
adjust our portfolio to properly manage an account. Advisors don't do this. Nobody does any of this stuff. In fact, I service a lot of advisors and hedge funds. They use our strategy and pay us huge for it because they want a strategy that actually, navigates the markets and protects their clients from massive drawdowns. So the whole emotional side of the mindset is difficult. And I'm constantly trying to get through to them. And it's really hard to change somebody's thought process and mindset because we're so hardwired with what the norm is and what people
Yeah.
expect and what's always talked about, right? So that's the biggest thing I have, and it's really hard to get through to people. And sometimes you have to say stuff pretty blunt and kind of sharp and kind of rude, almost a
Yeah.
poke, to just be like, hey, there's another way. And you almost have to almost hurt them a little bit, maybe with their ego. And like,
100%.
it's not about gambling. Like it's about managing our lifestyle and our wealth. They're kind of the same thing. They're very closely related.
Very much so. You're poking this this inherent relationship everybody has with uncertainty, right? And so what do you have when you look at the market? Do you have a relationship with uncertainty? Like how do you respond? I have to imagine, and again, please understand this is coming from
Yeah, yeah,
some ignorance on my side, but how do you respond when, if your analysis is slightly off and
yeah.
uncertainty in markets? Like, how do you respond? What's your relationship with uncertainty? Because that
I'm
will form how you approach them
yeah,
with their relationship with uncertainty.
yeah. That's actually a really good question. So the average person thinks through marketing and other companies that say, hey, we've got this strategy, it works this amount, like it's this accurate, you can make this much, all this stuff, right? And we know where the markets are going. The reality is there is no certainty. Nobody knows. And
Mhm.
once you get the grasp of, okay, I have no idea where the market is going today, tomorrow, or next year. I don't know where anything is going, but I have a system in place to follow the markets very closely, identify how strong something is, and I have a strategy in place. So that removes the whole emotion, because now we're not guessing and now we're not trying to front run. I mean, we're not trying to get in front of something that's about to change direction, have a big move. We actually let it start to move and be like, whoa, that's a swell. Let's get on that baby. And we follow it. And the biggest thing is people are like, if we take a losing trade, which we do, people are like, I paid for your advice and I just lost a bunch of money. And what am I supposed to do? I'm like, well, we only lost a little bit because we managed things very closely, and
Yeah.
we're not going to win every trade. If you can't take a loss and several losses back to back, sometimes, you shouldn't be in this industry.
Yeah.
It's the blind leading the blind here. It's right. Who's got the best feelers to see what the market is doing, and follow it by sound and sight and emotions. And so,
Man, that's good.
yeah.
But it goes back to that psychology piece. That's really, really good. And there is that psychological relationship with uncertainty that even outside of trade, just entrepreneur, like an entrepreneurial venture, right? It's
Mhm.
that the same thing. You got to have that same exact thing. There's the systems, there's the strategies, but you're going to take some losses, and you got to understand that that is going to be a part of that, and that's going to be part of that learning process. And so
Yeah.
you're paying attention to these trends. And so now we live in this world, and maybe this affects you, maybe it doesn't. I genuinely don't know. It's a world obsessed with continuous news cycles, most of them negative. There's a lot of these clickbait headlines. How do you filter, the signal from the noise, so to speak, like the real
Yeah.
thing from the this is just kind of the look over here while the real action's over here.
Yeah.
Like, how do you filter that?
I flipped the switch to off about, I think I'm going on 12 years without TV news, radio. I don't read
I
other
love it.
people's opinions.
I love it,
I
man.
didn't even know about COVID till it was like the stock market was in free fall mode, and my son, my daughter, and they both told me, and like they're the ones who tell me when breaking news actually hits. Like
Yeah,
I honestly, I got rid of negative stuff about 5, 6 years ago. I don't watch negative shows. I remember I love Sons of Anarchy, and then it just got so dark. And every show, I swear, there's so many good shows, but they after a few seasons they get so dark.
yeah,
And I'm like, I hate these feelings. I go into bed with terrible feelings. I got rid of news, which is always negative. You never hear about all the good stuff. It's always the
yeah,
bad stuff. So I live in my own bubble. I'm always in, 10 out of 10 little bubble in my property. And so I don't let the news come in. I do have a lot of people send me, check out this video. This is what this guy says about it. And unfortunately, I don't usually read it. I might flick it on for a split second. And as soon as I
yeah.
see his charts or whatever they say, I get it just for what he's saying. I'm like, okay, I get it. But I don't ever put any weighting into other people's opinions. I've done this long enough. I know what I'm doing. I know what fits me. And I don't care if the world falls apart around me. I can follow the charts with like no news, no opinions from others. So news is one of the biggest things that sucks everybody in. It wastes so much time.
I love it, dude. I love it. It's exact when we talk freedom and sovereignty, this is what we were talking about. It's about building that life you don't need the vacation from. It's about assigning that mentality to everything. So I have to imagine, and I might be just lobbing up a softball on, but I have to imagine what you're talking about here, the way you're like, hey, we're going to block out the news. I'm not worried about other people's opinions. I'm just going to pay attention and I'm going to develop. That's got to transfer over, I would imagine, to other areas outside of just trading, to the family life, to raising kids,
Yeah,
like
for
to
sure.
raising a family. Like, do you see those systems transfer over? Do you have a place in life right now where you're like, but it's this area where that's not really working, not really clicking, or is it pretty much same principles? Obviously, tactics different, but same principles across the board.
It's pretty much the same principles across the
Yeah.
board. So I read a book called Built to Sell by John Warlow. It's a thin little book. My dad gave it to me years ago. And I base everything off that book. I mean, it is a very high level basic book. More or less, it says take whatever your passion is, your business, and it teaches you how to systemize it so that it runs without you.
Yep.
And as you know, Matt, if the business requires you every day, the business really isn't worth much if you ever want to sell it or you
Right.
die or something, right? It's going to be worthless.
Key man
So
list.
this little book taught me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to systemize everything. I have real estate. It runs on its own. I have a self-storage facility. It runs on its own. My trading business, I mean, I'm still kind of the key face on it, but I don't really, other than you and I talking and podcasts and my morning video I do for subscribers, which I don't do them all, everything is run without me. It's all systemized from that book. And if you build a system, then it frees up time. And I have this with a lot of stuff in life. I have this with a bunch of different stuff. It works really well. Create a system because it gets rid of all the extra thinking and stress of like, now what do I have to do? Right. So that's definitely a huge thing is to systemize stuff. And my biggest problem right now is I kind of have too many fun things that I like, and
Yeah.
it's hard to spread yourself out. You can't really focus on stuff. Like right now, we're going to be doing a movie next year. We're shooting a family adventure movie, a teen family adventure movie, which is going to be totally epic. So we're just getting investors, and we're working with some big car companies to sponsor and all that stuff. And I'm making stuff. I'm a maker, so I've invented some really cool products and props that are going to be used in the movie. They're very STEM oriented, um, it's science and all that stuff. I'm working on another invention right now that I'm going to license out and patent. That I have to sneak into my workshop every week or so. I get back in and I dive back in and try to remember where I'm at. And you actually touched on this earlier, like keeping things simple. It's
Yeah.
funny because I have this invention and I've been working on it for a couple of years, and I'm about to test it on Wednesday. I think this I'm super excited, but I hadn't touched it in about 3 weeks. And I went down on Friday, I put in a bunch of hours on it, and I sat back and I looked at it. I'm like, man, like it's just kind of complicated. It's got servos, it's got gears, it's got all kinds of stuff, programming, it's very mechanical. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, with a fresh mind, I'm like, I could just do it this way. It's amazing when you step back and then come back to it and you'd be like, why did I go that complex route? Right. And you just
Yeah.
break it down to a simple process. And anyway, I kind of got off
Oh,
topic
it's
there, but systems are the key. And I do document everything, and it really makes life so much easier. If you like something, make sure you try to systemize it so that it stays consistent and runs and all that stuff.
put a simple system in. Man, that's good. I'm interested in that movie too, but I want to talk. And gentlemen, as you guys are listening to this, as you guys start to have questions, I want you guys to start putting your hands up so I can start bringing you guys in here in a sec too for a little Q&A before the hour is up. But I'm interested in hearing more about the movie and the impetus behind that, and I want to talk about technicaltraders.com too and what you're building there and how you're serving people. Um, let's go because we're on the heels of the movie talk. So give me a little more insight as far as like what you're doing, why, where did that come from? And then I want to talk technical traders too.
Right on. So, one of my good friends, John, he's produced and sold 10 featured movies. He actually in Canada had one of the top grossing films for Lionsgate, which is a production company. And
Yeah.
him and I kind of collided about a year and a half ago. He has this idea of this new movie, and he's very creative. Him and his wife. It's a teen action kind of sci-fi adventure movie, kind of like Goonies meets ET slash Avatar. Like it's a really cool sci-fi movie where a group of kids come together and they find a relic from another planet that's had some issues with like climate and stuff, and it has some really cool clean tech and ways to save the planet from potentially like just climate change type, not climate change, but more so just us hurting the planet, right?
Yeah.
And so long story short, it's just an adventure movie and where kids come together and they save the planet, and it's just a feel good movie. I can't give away the kind of the
Sure.
background
No,
of it because
100%.
it's all kind of fairly secret, but that's kind of where we're at is we're doing this movie. It's him and his wife, it's their passion, and I can see it, I feel it. And of course my kids are in one of the trailer clips that we have for it. And
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be part of a movie or be in a movie. I'm quite the character. So I just want to have fun and do stuff that I love. And so it's just one of the projects and investments that I'm in, and we're, going to do that. But
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. You remind me of, do you know Jeff Hoffman by any chance? Uh,
no.
okay, so Jeff was, so I'm sure you've been to a number of airports, but when there's like the kiosks where you can print out your boarding passes and all that kind of stuff. So he originally invented that. Him and some partners, they invented that. He went on to be the founder of Priceline.com. Um,
Okay.
so he's the founder of that, and then has served as an advisor to the last I don't know how many administrations in the White House, and but then he has gone on to he's very much the same as you. He's gone on to like he's won a Grammy for working on some sort of musical project. I don't remember the name of the movie, but there is a movie that is kind of almost a cheesy like a almost a cheesy like in the woods horror film, but it's a lot of people. I If I can think of the name of it, I'll say it because almost everybody here will probably have seen it, and
Not the
he's
Blair Witch Project.
Dude, it's not Blair Witch, but it was something around that similar sort of deal where it's like, okay, almost everybody saw this, and
Yeah.
uh, and he's got even a little role in that. He's like, dude, it's so fun. Like, I just wanted to be a part of that. It was cool. I saw the vision of it. I had a friend. And so he's going and he's building this life where he's just touching so many things because he wants to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love every bit of that. And what a great example that is for their kids too, man.
Yeah, and just to go here further on the same topic is
Yeah,
I helped start a charity called 100 Men Who Cares. We have 100 men in our area. We
yeah,
get together 3 times a year, and in 1 hour, we all donate $100. We have all the local charities come in. Well, we auction off three local charities. We pick three different ones. They have 8 minutes to talk and pitch what our 100 people at $100, it's $10,000. In 60 minutes, we donate $10,000 to a local charity to help whatever it is. There's so many great causes, right? And I bring my daughter, and she'll come help run the
so
front
cool.
desk booth with me when everybody's coming in. And it's the giving back. I love the giving back, and I do a lot of charity stuff, even with technical traders. A lot of our subscribers will come in and will help back all kinds of different charities. We raised the most in Canada for teen mental health. It was called the Polar Dip, and we had the biggest team. We raised the most money across Canada, and we stayed in the ice cold water for almost 8 minutes. It was painful. I was pretty much frozen. I
Yeah,
shook for
I've
about
heard that.
3 hours
Oh,
afterwards,
yeah.
but I wanted to win, and we did. But anyways, it's all about giving back, and that's what I do with technical traders. Is I manage my own money, and technical traders, the newsletter I have is me just sharing what I'm doing with my portfolio. I don't
Yeah.
manage anybody's money. I just say, hey guys, this is how I manage my lifestyle and my trading, and you can copy and ride my coattails. I do all the
Yep.
hard work. You just do what I do. We celebrate together, more or less. And that's what I try and do. And the strategy that I have in the markets is all about the markets have a way of hurting the most people at the worst possible time. And we are coming up to the largest group of people in retirement or
Yeah.
close to retirement with the
Yeah.
most wealth they've ever had. And the markets are on the verge of something very big, very ugly that could wipe out tens or hundreds of millions of people's retirements. And
Hmm.
the strategy I have allows us to completely sidestep it. We don't ever have to worry about a flash crash. We don't have to worry about a correction or a bear market, a recession. In fact, we benefit from those because our strategy is very dynamic. It's a adaptive strategy. And so, anyways, that's what my whole strategy with investing is trying to give back. I'm trying to teach this new way of investing, which is the book, which is beside me, Asset Revesting. It's a whole new way of investing. And we have advisors come to us and they're like, I always like apologize. I'm like, sorry, because I always bash advisors.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I totally get it. We do the same thing in terms of
Oh,
the 60
right.
40 portfolio. If we veer
Right.
too far off and we lose money for our clients, they can sue us. So it's better if all advisors do roughly the same thing and they all lose all their clients' money during a bear market together. And
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I'm like, if I'm an
Yeah.
investor, it's either going up or I'm just sitting in cash. And that's
That's
the whole strategy, right?
so good, man. That's awesome. And I obviously I want people to be able to connect with that. We'll make sure people know where to go as far as website, book, all of those things. So I don't want to, I don't want to give away anything that you are doing because it's doing such good work. I don't want to give away anything on this. How are you that not the strategy wise though, but when you're talking about we're on the verge of this transfer of wealth and a lot of people are going to kind of lose their shirts. What is it you're seeing that you're kind of bracing for? Or telling
I
everybody.
think we're going to have like a financial reset where a lot of economies, not just the US, but
Yeah,
because I follow the US markets, that's my core thing. But I
yeah,
have futures, which is really global. But
yeah,
I think we're going to see a huge worldwide recession. I think eventually this momentum it already is stalling out. There's a lot of stuff that I track
yeah.
that shows the end is coming. The music's about to stop, and there's going to be a huge transfer of wealth. To those who are very savvy are going to make ridiculous amounts of money. And then the other 99% of people are going to lose their shirts, and it's going to be like an '08 crash all over again, or a 3 year, a tech bubble where they don't make money for 16 years for the NASDAQ to recover. It's going to be
Mm,
really ugly. Real estate is on the cusp of a big leg down. Another probably 15 to 25% drop, it looks like. The stock market could fall like 40, 50, 60%, which happens over and over again. That's not out of
yeah,
the norm. That is the norm for a financial reset. And we've had many, many of these going back decades. And so whether it happens or not, you need a strategy in place. And so it's way better to have a strategy in place and not have to use it and sleep well at night and go on with your life and not worrying
right.
about running out of money in retirement than it is to always be stressing about it. So like that's what I plop down, and it's going to be really difficult for businesses. In fact, the stock market, me learning what I learned at a very young age, my dad and I, we flew to China when I was, how old was I? I was 19 or 20. We went to the Canton World Fair, which is like 4 days of every product you could imagine in the world is made like in China. All the
Yeah,
manufacturers are there. My dad and I would walk up and down these aisles of these warehouses. Literally, you could see like the world rounding, and these warehouses were so long in China. We had our suitcases with like our carry-ons with the wheels. And as you walk through these different booths, you see a new product that we've never seen before. We take the flyer, we put it in our suitcase. And by the end of the day, we'd have like 100 pounds worth of paper, both in our carry ons of products that we thought were cool. We'd go back at night, which is 12 hours difference. So we'd be wired and awake in China because it's daytime in Canada for
yeah,
us. And we would sit on the pile being like, yes, maybe, or no pile. And by the end of the 4 days, we found one product. We started our own line of health products. I customized them. I did all the technical stuff. I did all the manuals. We built a high end brand. I built a dealer network across Canada, United States. We got our product on as seen on TV. It was booming. It was like that was my first business, and I just went all in and with my dad. And I saw the financial markets, the economy coming to an end in 2007 because I was still doing all my trading stuff. That was
right.
my core behind the scenes. And I said, Dad, I'm like, I don't really want to do the health business anymore. I'm tired of like phone calls of like, a controller's burnt out and can you ship this? And we had a
Yeah,
warehouse we had to manage. He's like, well, let's just sell it. And so we did. And not only that, but our business was peaking. I could feel the whole economy slowed down. The dealers had slowed down. I said, let's just sell it because I feel like the end's coming. And we sold it. And then the economy went off a cliff. And the guy who bought it, unfortunately, never recovered.
wow.
And it's going to be, my point is, it's going to be very difficult for business owners in the next
Yeah,
few years. And if you know it's coming, you can prepare, you can tighten up your ship, get really efficient, be mentally prepared. That's half the battle,
yeah,
90% of the battle.
yeah,
Uh, but it's going to be a huge opportunity if you can stay alive through a reset. It gets rid of all the noise, it gets rid of all the competitors, and you're shining, the knight in shining armor at the beginning of a new 10, 15-year super cycle of an economic boom, and you take off. So
that's
I
right.
don't know where I was exactly
Oh,
going
that's
with that, but the whole circle is understanding the financial markets also plays into entrepreneurship because you're like, okay, we're coming into difficult times, or let's just sell off this business that we don't really want to do anymore. And it's
Yeah.
at a peak time. Like it's either we struggled for years and hope, because what happened is a bunch of competitors came in selling a product similar to us and they flooded the market and they did cheaper ones that looked the same. I mean, people copy
Yep.
you so fast, right? I was like, well, we're gonna have a crappy business. Let's just move on. So if you understand the financial space, and I talk about this in my newsletter, I cover real estate all the time. I cover business. A lot of people I have are entrepreneurs. The strategy that I have can be automatically traded for you. So it's almost like if you're an entrepreneur, you can almost like put a chunk of money to our strategy and it runs. It's like a business running on its own. It's
Yep.
managed properly, all there, and you can still focus on your core business, your core passion. And so that's what I do. I provide literally a business in a box. If you got some extra money that you want to diversify somewhere else, you can pull it out of your brokerage account or pull it out of your advisor and put some in a place that will actually protect you when everything else is going to
It's
hell, right?
falling apart.
Yeah.
Man, that's so good. All right, we got KG's got his hand up here, so I'm gonna bring
Okay.
this gentleman in. Let's see. Oh, KG, sorry about that. I didn't mean to lower your hand. I want to spotlight you. There you go. What's up, brother?
Hey Chris, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin.
How does cryptocurrency fit into all of this? I don't
Hmm.
I don't know anything about cryptocurrency, so
What do
talk to me like I know nothing.
Yeah, so this will grow a ton of haters for me right here, but I'm not a crypto fan. I think you could ignore it, to be honest. I have a little bit of crypto I bought like 10 years ago, and I've never bought any more or sold it. Crypto is a very different beast. It's not my thing. I focus on the core assets, stocks, bonds, currency, cash. That's where the massive money flows for the whole world are. Crypto is its own little thing. Um, I can't gauge, tidal waves and big moves on a specific tiny little thing like I can the overall economy. So that's kind of where I would steer clear of it. There's the occasional trade we do on it, a very short-term trade with an ETF. We don't trade the actual crypto itself, but um, it is really volatile. I think if you want to grow like real wealth, I wouldn't really focus on it because it's not that predictable. And I like stuff that's kind of predictable and consistent. That's where the compounding is. That compounding effect, you make 5% and then you roll it all into the next trade. And that's what our investment strategy does. The ACS strategy that I have is called the adaptive compounding strategy. So instead of doing a whole bunch of Bitcoin trades or small cap stock trades, going for 30, 40, 50% wins on those trades, which have a low win rate, super volatile. When they backfire, they hurt. We take 5 to 12 trades where we make 1, 3, 5%, which aren't big trades. They're a bunch of first base hits. But when you compound the gains 5 times through the year, as Albert Einstein said, compounding is the most powerful force in the universe. So we just take really low risk, high probability trades and we just compound it 5 to 12 times. And that amplifies things without taking the risk. So I stay away from really volatile stuff because it's just that, right?
Yeah, volatile.
You could make a ton one year, you could give it all back the next year. It could be 30 years down the road. I have so many investors that have been investing and trading themselves for 20, 30 years, and they're like, I still don't make any money. It doesn't matter how much training you take, you really do need a strategy. And if you have a good strategy, then you can get rid of the emotional side. You can cut it off. You'll be like, yeah, I don't want to get into this trade, but I'm doing it. You close your eyes and you get into the position because it's the trades you skip are the best ones because they're the scariest to get into because your mind in the market has a way of completely seeing things or feeling the opposite of how it should. So yeah, I'm not a huge crypto fan.
And I struggle to find anybody that has middle ground on crypto. They're either all in on
Yeah.
crypto or they're like you and they say just avoid it. So that's why I struggle with it a lot.
That's it. They either love or hate the comments I just said.
Yeah,
It's all
100%.
that. It's
I
all in or
believe that.
nothing.
Yep, yep, I believe that. Good question, KG, because I'm with you, man. I know enough to be not personally, just not super bullish on, never gone down that rabbit hole at all because I'm like, I don't like it because, and I never have. So I don't know a ton about it, but I kind of lean that way too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question, KG. So who are you paying attention to from an individual, maybe like a business So obviously we met out at acquisition, and I love the look, man. I'm gonna shut off the negativity. I'm gonna decide what I make normal. I'm gonna shut off the negativity, the darkness, the news cycles, the all of the noise on all that stuff, man. I resonate with that so hardcore. And you are intentional about paying attention to certain people where you do want to grow and paying attention in business and in creating these systems. And I wrote down Built to Sell, and that's I want to go check because I've not read that. Who do you like to pay attention to, learn from? Is there anybody that you're like, ooh, I'm kind of bullish on listening to this or watching this? Like who do you like, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I'm not very good with names, but I
Yeah,
have all
sure.
kinds of the old motivator guys on
Yeah,
my,
man.
like I have my YouTube short feed. If you saw my feed, it's nothing but like, I think it makes my wife roll her eyes because it's nothing but motivational stuff and like,
Yeah,
or health stuff. It just hits deep, right? For me, it hits really deep. For other people, they're just like,
yeah,
oh my gosh. But
yeah. I get it.
I don't really follow anyone specific. I'm not a big fan of social media. I'm occasionally addicted to the shorts, but my shorts I think are really healthy because I usually swipe long enough until a couple of them really sink deep. I'm like, all right, I gotta go do something now, like because
Yeah,
they're uplifting, right? I don't really have
yeah,
stupid, ridiculous waste of your time stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. It's that intentionality around all of that.
yeah, I read a book last month called Letting Go by I think it was Stephen Hawkins. And
Okay.
that book I listened to the audio. I've listened to it twice now. It is the I would do the audio because you can play it at like 1.75 speed and rip through it
Yeah,
because it's 12-hour audio, but it's 5 hours if you speed it up.
yeah,
It is really good. It's all about letting go and kind of coming back to what you said before. It's like the unknown, like of not knowing the book or yeah, the book more or less just makes you comfortable with like we don't know what's going to happen. Everything that happens, you're going to learn something from it. You can turn it
yeah,
into a positive, um, and it just gives you control over no matter what happens.
yeah,
You're mentally stable, and I think mental health is like one of the biggest things. I don't know what it is. Ever since COVID, like things went off a cliff.
yeah,
Everybody's
man.
very unstable, it seems, and
Yeah,
very emotional. And I don't know if it's the drugs they forced everybody to take
yeah, I
or
know,
what.
man. I know.
But that book, if you listen to it, it is an old book, and it's a very, to me, it's normal because I'm used to listening to my dad's old cassette tapes. They have that
Right.
old person voice from back in the
Oh yeah.
60s,
Old Earl
70s.
Nightingale, just like, all right. And then,
Totally. Yeah. So
oh,
if you can get over that and get used to the structure of the book, it is
yeah,
so, you feel so enlightened every time you listen to like an hour of it or so, and you feel so much clearer and you just realize whatever happens, happens. You just have to let things go and everything will work out in the end. You just keep aiming towards the light and keep moving. There is no straight path to success or happiness. It's the journey. The book allows you to enjoy the journey of no
yeah,
matter how rough it gets or good it gets. And when my dad and I launched the health business, we ordered 2 container loads. We had no money. We borrowed money at that time. We
yeah,
ordered 2 container loads of products to come over. The Chinese company said it was all CSA certified and ready to meet all the Canadian electronics. They arrived and they weren't. They had lied to us. And we lost about $275,000. The second we opened that container, we're like, oh my God, they totally screwed us. And we went back to the drawing board, had to rebuild the products, redesign them with a different manufacturer. Uh, and I just remember, my mom was devastated. Like, you guys, we went out on a limb and we do this, and then we lost money already. Like, this is me coming right out of college, right?
yeah,
And looking back, it was the best thing that could have ever happened. It really strengthened my risk management. And just my dad, he's so motivated, so positive. He's always positive. Doesn't matter what happens, he's like the most optimistic person ever, which can backfire at times, but he's just like, no, we'll just do this, we'll just keep going, we'll make the money back, it'll just take more time, that's all it is. And he just kept, more or less spurring me on as a horseback rider. You're like, come on, let's go. Like, he would just keep me moving forward. And so his positive attitude, he's like, we'll be fine, we'll just keep going, we'll make it back. And we did, and we ended up building a booming business, and it was unbelievable. And so it just comes down to like having that grit. And I'm going back to that. I just remember I was mentally broken down. I was like, oh,
yeah,
well, we just launched a business and we fell flat on our face and lost over $250,000. But it comes back to just realizing, you know what, just keep moving towards the light. And as you know, as a business owner, you think this works, you try, it doesn't work, you move over here. Before you know it, you're doing something totally different, but it's evolved and you're just like, I love this. I didn't know I'd be doing this. And here I am doing it. And I'm one of the best. And I love it. And Yeah, it's
Exactly it, man. That's what we call it, fire aim ready over here. It's not ready
yeah.
aim fire, it's fire aim ready. You learn as you go. You gotta,
I
but
like that. Yeah,
starts with going. Yeah, man.
nice.
Oh, so did your wife share that same mentality, or has she learned it from you? Do you drive her nuts on that? And are you guys passing that down to your kids?
Totally passing it down to the kids. My wife and I did run the health business together, and that was one
Okay,
of my
cool.
favorite
Yeah,
times. We ran
cool.
it, and we would be answering the phone and closing deals every day, and like just it was so exciting. And so that was really good. But then we had kids, and she became managing the house, managed the
Yeah,
paperwork, and kind
yeah,
of life. And
yeah.
I'll just keep running the machines. I'll build the machines and make us money, and you keep the life and family and everybody going. So that's kind of how we kind of split apart. And so I try to keep some of the business away and keep her on the life side, right? But
So good.
we were originally a team, and it was pretty epic. And it's funny, my dad and I sold that business, and then about 5 or 6 years ago, my dad's getting older, and him and I have a blast working together. We used to do like 16-hour truck drives to deliver our products to some of our dealers because they were big. They were far infrared saunas, and it cost thousands to ship. So we would spend one day, we'd leave at 4 in the morning, come back at like, midnight or two, like the next morning, and save thousands and make more money. And we would whistle. We're like the mad whistlers. You put on a song, him and I are like slapping on our legs, we're whistling, and we do solos. And I missed that. We had some of our best times driving up north, middle of nowhere, running out of gas on a road where it's like there's no fuel for another 200 kilometers or 100 miles type thing. Anyway, about 6 years ago, I said, Dad, let's do one more hurrah. Let's start another business together. I said, I'll figure it out, and then let's do it. So we ended up starting we built a small self-storage facility, and we still own it and run it today. And we built it. It's like tripled in value. And it doesn't make a ton of money. It's like 100K a year, but it runs with the software. The call center takes the calls, the software manages it. There's no electricity, no running water. It's built out of containers. People have to open the gate themselves to go in and out. I made like the lowest maintenance, lowest cost facility you could possibly have. And so we have this, and we go like twice a summer to cut down the grasses that are like 5 feet tall because we
Yeah.
totally don't maintain it. It's just like gravel with weeds, and but it's fun. We go there, we sweat it out for 2 days in the summer and clean it up and whistle away, and it's just fun to
Freaking
father son team. I love it.
dude, I love every bit about that. Love every bit, man, everything you're saying, and not just everything you're saying, but the way you have decided that this is how it's going to be. And so then you're just reporting that. Like I resonate with that so much, man, and always have. So I'm grateful for you. I'm going to take these guys, we're getting ready to wrap on this, and then I'll take these guys through a whole debrief on this, and we'll dive into some other things too. And
Sure.
uh, I want to make sure people know books wise where to go. Obviously, technicaltraders.com. Any other places we would have them go to learn more about you and what you're doing. I want to make sure we hit those. And then from just a pure friend to friend standpoint, the most important question is for us as a an organization is, man, how do we best, is there anything that you need from us? Is there anything we can do for you? Is there anything we can do to just have you get off and go, oh, cool, man, that's awesome. These guys are taking care of me in that way. So those are the final things on our side. So let's start books, technicaltraders.com, but let's talk the books too, man. Where do people go?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Yeah, on my website, the technicaltraders.com, 3 words. You can get the books there, which really just links you to Amazon,
Perfect.
Amazon or Chapters or Indigo, wherever. The books are everywhere. There's 2 books, which you can see to my side here. Asset Revesting is my newest one. That is the one where I'm trying to change the industry, create a new category of investing. I don't know if you know much about category design. Have you ever heard of that?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm thinking more of like creating a new niche. I'm thinking about it and from like obviously from a schooling standpoint, and just
So
going, okay, cool, we're creating that. So I'm assuming there's a similarity.
yeah, so you're gonna love this. You guys are gonna love this. Creating a new niche is like creating a new category. You got to
Right.
read the book Play Bigger by
Okay.
Christopher something. Play Bigger.
Okay.
It's all about creating a new category, which is exactly what you guys are doing with your school system. It's
Yep.
totally awesome, and that's why you guys are dominating. That's why you're going to explode. And it's like Kleenex. Everybody calls it Kleenex. It's tissue, but
That's right.
Kleenex was the first one. So if you become the
Right.
category king, you create the category. Everybody will eventually search this category, and
Yep.
you are the leader. You're the godfather. You're the inventor. Everybody's trying to copy you. And so you suck up everything. You get almost all of the business in
Yep.
the long run. So I'm creating a new category of investing is what I'm trying to do because I want to stand apart from everybody because what everyone else does, it's very dangerous. The buy and hold portfolio diversification, I call it the ticking time bomb for retirees. It's just a matter of time before the markets go through a correction and it's going to blow up retirees'
Yeah, man.
lifestyle. So, anyways, that's what asset revesting is about. And then the other one's technical trading mastery. It's a very high level of how technical analysis works, how to gauge risk position management, how to read some charts. I share some of my best indicators in there to identify short-term turns in the markets. Um, so it's just a very different style. It's for somebody who wants to trade, and asset revesting is for somebody who wants to maintain their wealth, grow it in all market conditions, and maintain their lifestyle. It's a lifestyle book. Like it's all about protecting our lifestyle, right? So if you have
Love
the
it.
wealth, then you have a great lifestyle. I mean, you need money
Yeah.
to be have freedom, right? Money is time. It's
Right.
either you're working for money or you have money and you can play.
That's
So
right.
that's the whole side. So
So good,
um,
man.
yeah,
Well, we'll link all those. I'm gonna grab the books too, because I want to dive into that, and I want to dive in further on the website with what you're doing in there and your subscription model and all that. I just I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all of this, but I'm a fan of you too. And so if there was anything you could wave a magic wand and say, hey man, hey guys, for me, for Chris, for my family, for my 15, for my 13. Is there anything that's like, hey man, that would be cool if you guys would go do this for me and you guys could have my back this way?
huh? What would it be? I don't know. I don't know what it would be. I mean, I love what you guys are doing. I'm trying to help my kids become entrepreneurs and be
Man,
like I'm a huge fan of like if we go on a trip, I don't stress about school. We have other parents who are like, we can't take our kid out. I'm like, trust me, going to another country and doing an adventure, your kid is going to learn way more
yes,
than 5 days
sir.
in school.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so I'm all just about adventures and how do you teach that entrepreneurial spirit? My daughter's had many businesses already. She had an online business selling dog cookies, and she did
Yeah.
jewelry, and she does all kinds of fun stuff. And my son, he's still a boy. He wants to just play and have fun and ride dirt
Yeah.
bikes and
Yeah.
fish and
Oh, that's
stuff.
rad
But
too.
I don't know. I think finding a way to connect better with kids, like you guys have processes in place to work with teens, right? And
Yeah,
now
man.
I have noticed just in the last year and a half, my daughter, she really turned into a teenager, like
Yeah.
night and day switch. We used to have like
Yeah.
sleepovers on Friday nights and hang out. And like now she's like, get away and don't get out of the car when you pick me
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. 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 You're getting to
And my
that.
son
Congrats.
still likes my son still likes to cuddle, but he's definitely he got a dirt bike, electric one. So now he's got the freedom. It's like his own vehicle, and he's in town and out of town and up on the mountain. I look at him on my phone, I track him, and he's like always in the middle of the woods, like 15 kilometers away, and
Right.
on trails and stuff. But I
So
think
cool.
just I need to learn more about your programs really on how to connect and educate that way because I know it needs, I know a lot. I just don't know how to carry it over to a kid because they have low tension spans,
Yeah.
um, and they don't look
Yeah.
long term. They just want instant gratification. And I don't know how to break through that. So I just do
Understood.
tidbits.
That's awesome, man. Well, I got some things that I want to send you guys to. I want to send your kids, and I'm glad to keep the conversation rolling too, man, because I want to pour back into you and pour back into your family. I'm also excited to dive into the books, and I know a lot of these guys will too. So obviously, we're going to put this out to the bigger podcast platforms. We're going to put it internally
Right
to the
on.
thousands of people that we get to serve inside too, man. But I'm going to take these guys through a debrief. We'll get all this up. I'll let you know when things go out, but then I'll shoot you a text a little later after meetings too. So I'm gonna keep the conversation rolling. Like I said, I've got some things that I want to send to you and to your kids
Perfect.
too, man.
Awesome. I
So,
appreciate it, Matt. Yeah. Thank
oh,
you.
brother, this is awesome, man. Thank you. I'm sorry that I'm gonna miss you in Vegas the next
I
time, but
know. Yeah.
we'll figure it out, man. Make it work. And hey, open invite right now too. Anytime if you guys ever want a vacation in the mountains out here in Western North Carolina for any reason, you got a place to stay, man.
I love it. We do Outer Banks like every spring. We go kiteboarding to the Outer Banks. Love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
freaking fantastic. You're
Right on.
awesome. Brother, I
Cool.
appreciate you. I'll reach out here in a little bit.
Thanks, guys. All right. Take care. Cheers.